and welcome to 𝗩𝗵𝗱𝗲𝗂𝗰𝘁𝘀𝗀.com, where we teach you all about gardening in the great indoors. If you'd like to support our show, please use our Amazon affiliate link below. Today I'm going to be talking about how to prevent shock in houseplants. Plants can get stressed just like us. That stress will show up in the form of shock. This is a peace lily here. I'm going to soon be transplanting it, so I will be looking for signs of shock when I do that, or after I get it transplanted, after I get it repotted. So houseplants with shock in general will experience yellowing and wilting leaves and leaf loss. There are two types of shock in houseplants, but both are caused by disturbance to the roots and disturbance to the plant overall. These are transplant shock, which I mentioned when you repot, and that it generally occurs when the roots are disturbed. And then the other type of shock comes from an abrupt change in environment, such as moving the plant or to another part of your house, or to another home location, or the plant suddenly is exposed to an abrupt change in environment, such as all of a sudden forced air from heating or air conditioning is blowing on it, or it all of a sudden is getting some excessive light. Maybe that happens because of change in season and you don't notice it, and then all of a sudden you notice, wow, the plant doesn't look too good. It could be in shock. Droughting your plant can also cause it to go into shock. So how to prevent plants from going into shock? Because shock can kill plants, or it'll take a while for the plant to come out of it and look good again. It will slow down growth, etc. So to help prevent transplant shock, ensure that you are careful when repotting a houseplant with the plant, even with the plant overall, but especially with the roots, because the roots are very delicate on most houseplants. So be very delicate with the roots. Don't be pulling on it and trying to get out of a pot. I do have a video on how to get plants that have been that are stuck in plant pots out, because that is a lot of times how plants get the shock, when there's just too much commotion, too much forcing going on when the person when the person gets the plant out of the pot. So I have a video, as mentioned, on how to get it out safely. I will link that below, as well as any of the other videos that are applicable to this video. Okay. So being very careful with the roots, really careful, that's really, really important. Then after repotting, putting the plant in the same location as it was prior will also help avoid transplant shock. If you can't put it in the same location, put it in a similar location. Also water well after repotting. Yes, you do want to water well after repotting. And to further ensure that the plant doesn't get shock, add a starter nutrient solution, such as something I forgot. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. A good starter solution, this is called Jump Start. It's a really good starter solution that will help avoid that transplant shock when you do repot. This is comprised of organic substances containing natural growth hormones, such as sea kelp. It has sea kelp, it has alfalfa meal, and I do have videos on organic growth hormones, and especially alfalfa meal, which I will link as well. So, and it also has vitamin B1 and C. So those will help the plant avoid transplant shock. Additionally, you can also use Super Thrive. That's another one that I will also use, and I will link that below, as well as this one below as well, so you can take a look. So those will help. You want to use that in the solution when you first water after repotting, and in the second watering as well. Once the plant the soil starts to dry out and the plant is drinking, you're sure that the plant is drinking again. You can also use this solution on a plant that maybe you haven't transplanted, but it got shock from the move as mentioned earlier, or change in its climate. Oh, and another biggie that causes houseplant shock is a fall. So if your plant falls, if you drop your plant, or if it falls from a high location or even a low location, it just depends on how it falls, that can also cause shock in your house plants. So I do have a video on what to do if you've had a fall, if your plant has had a fall as well. And so any disturbance like that, go ahead and use this solution, because it doesn't have to just be used when you're starting a plant, when you're transplanting. It can be used at any time that you're concerned about shock, and you see it looks like your plant is in shock. Now, don't overwater with it, obviously. Use it judiciously, but it is a good thing to add to the mix as well. You also want to avoid putting the plants in the path of forced heating or air conditioning, especially if they're in shock. So don't be having things blowing all over them when they're trying to recover from shock. Now, to prevent general shock, if you're going to change a location of a plant and the conditions are much different, do so gradually. So say you think, I want to move this plant out to my sunroom or into my sunny area or in a different area. Well, do it gradually. Maybe put it there for a couple hours in the day and then bring it back and where it was and until you've acclimated it to that location. This also goes for if you're going to be putting plants out for the summer. And when you do put plants out for the summer, please don't put them in bright direct sunlight. Most houseplants are not meant for bright direct sunlight, and that will really put them into shock really, really quick and can very well kill them. So another thing to keep in mind. Okay, also keep an eye out for over-fertilizing. Use organic fertilizers, which I talk about a lot, and also even half strength if you're not sure, because over-fertilizing will also cause shock. A telltale sign is brown, crispy leaf tips and edges, and the plant will also drop leaves. So those are signs of over-fertilized house plant. Also ensure that you don't forget to water the plant, because as mentioned, drought will also cause shock. So the good news is most plants will come out of shock with a little time and patience and good care. And they also like it if you encourage them with a little pep talk and promise them that you're not going to do whatever it was that you did that caused shock in the first place. Thank you for stopping by today. Please leave any comments about any indoor gardening tutorials you'd like to see. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. And please check the bell if you'd like to be notified when new videos are released.